Well, that timed out correctly this time, gentlemen.
There
Hey,
you
everybody.
go.
Welcome to the vlog of many things. I am one of your hosts. I am Don.
I am Tenka.
And I'm Tom,
And we are.
the vlog of many things.
Dun dun dun.
We got to
And
work on
we've
our
got
timing.
We are the
You know what?
Borg. We will assimilate you.
Well, welcome everybody to tonight. We have lots to talk about. Scott, how you doing? Big Vic, how you doing? Yes, it is probably. Fugly, how you doing?
Hey,
Tonight we got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to talk about a email that was presumably via Michael Hovermill. We're going to talk about the evil DM, Vic, or not Vic, sorry, Vic, didn't mean to insult you. Vincent Florio, did he or did he not plagiarize his Ennie award-winning game? Not that he would.
Never.
We're going to talk about a couple of new game conventions happening locally, and we're going to talk about a new website that I'm going to premiere to everybody tonight. If you want to go check it out, you guys can check it out. Even Eric and Tom don't know about this. Thaitis, how you doing? St. Cuthbert, how you doing? So, where do we start?
Oh, let's start with something simple. Get it out of the way. You want to bring up that Central Maine Card Expo? A little bit of news from Maine.
Hold on a minute.
We'll give them a little shout out. So, Central Maine Card Expo is kind of gaming adjacent. I watched them all last year. Was thinking about going out there and doing a little filming, and I just didn't get out because of family things. And so all of a sudden, so I followed all their photos of what they were doing. It's a really big gaming expo, and it was sports cards centered, but they've just kind of branched out into Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. So I thought we'd, throw the ad up on the screen and give them a shout out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is they do Pokemon, Magic Gathering, collectibles, cards. So hey, Paul, how you doing? So they obviously do a whole bunch of really cool stuff. And usually at these things, they got a little bit of everything.
Well, I don't know
they do it
about Michigan or New York, but here in Maine, Magic the Gathering really is a big thing.
Oh, Magic the Gathering is a huge Friday Night Magic is a thing in Michigan big time every Friday. So
yeah, the local T&D store has Magic nights.
Yeah,
you can't come in and play other stuff. All the tables are dedicated to Magic.
Yeah, and like if you go to any game shop in Michigan on a Friday night, it's Magic the Gathering. They don't even allow other games during Friday nights because they're so packed with Magic the Gathering gamers. So, real quick, Kim Winston asked a question. Kim says, "How you doing, Kim?" Kim goes, "Vince take a shortcut rather than do the work." No, say it isn't so.
But come on, I need to win. I need to win my
One
innings.
thing I'll say on this show,
Kim, was that a reference to Cult of Abaddon?
I know the story on Cult of Abaddon. Any rate, so thing is one thing about the show, we may spew a lot of bullshit, but it ain't bullshit that we spew because we back it up with the facts.
Right.
If that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but my medication ain't kicked in tonight. I need it. Trust me. Having con episodes of this channel is continuing good for the industry. Game on. Hell yeah. And that's the thing. If anybody has any type of conventions, conventions or anything that they are aware of, go ahead and email us down here, please.
Oh, wait, Eric,
at gmail.com.
You were showing us about a new convention in New York.
New convention next June in Central New York.
Yes. Eric, what is it exactly?
See, like now hold on. Now I need to go and find.
See, this is what we flip and deal with here, man. We got to deal with him. And now you're holding up the show. What is going on here?
Well, I need listen. All right, sorry. It's the Central New York. I wanted to find out what weekend it was, and it's the weekend after North Texas. So it's a Saturday Sunday convention in Central New York, in New Hartford, which I believe is just outside of Ithaca. So it's at the Burnstone Inn and 2-day pass is $25. I've known about this for a couple of weeks now. They officially announced it, I believe, yesterday on I forget which of the OSR streams it was. So special guests thus far.
Whoops.
Wow.
Sorry.
Special guests thus far are Greg Gillespie, Mr. Baramaze himself, Dragon Slayer, and myself. I don't know who else they're going to be inviting as special guests, but so far those are the initial special guests. So yeah, I'm going to be there. June's going to be busy for me next year. June's going to be busy.
Yes, it is. Now, Kim Winston says, as one of the few people who read Cult of Abaddon in depth, I can confidently say it was not any nominated material. Kim, I feel your pain because I had to actually sit for 3 hours watching Ernie Gygax smoke a half ounce of weed, getting higher than a kite, and trying to talk to him about that module and him adding his changes to it to make it more Ernie approved. I'm not joking. 3 hours. And it was just the biggest grabastic mess in the world. And of course, everybody bails. Hovermill bailed. Justin Lanasa bailed. Vince bailed. And I'm left with Ernie.
Oh.
And you think Ernie's wordy when he's not high? When Ernie gets fried on weed? Whoa. Crazy.
So I brought the picture up from the con there.
Oh, hold on. Let me pull it up here. And I think their advertising real quick for this is awesome.
Yeah.
This looks great. I would buy this as a t-shirt.
Oh my God. I would. I think that's just really cool. And real quick, for those of you who vend and sell stuff, this is a real good deal because it's $100 a table. They're advertising. $100 a table for a 2-day convention. For those of you in the know who do conventions, who do vendoring, that is a really damn good price for a couple days. I mean, if you can't make $100 up on your stuff in 2 days worth of convention, not to mention all the fun you run into and all that, it's you're doing something wrong. But
and what I've noticed is that 2-day conventions are usually Friday, Saturday conventions. Mm-hmm. Being Saturday, Sunday theoretically means if you live locally, you don't got to take off work to get there. Most people. Okay. And even if you, like in my case, I would come up on Friday, leave Monday morning. It's still condensed. It works around many schedules. So the timing of it is really, really good.
Well, you remember when ShireCon was one day?
Yeah, I do.
Friday and
wait a minute, wasn't ShireCon at one time like really technically 3/4 of a day?
It was like 2 sessions, I think. I think initially it was it?
Yes.
And then it was 3 sessions, and then it was it was Saturday plus an evening session on Friday, and now Friday was I think Friday was a full day.
By the way, Femzy T. Thank you very much for tuning in. Femzy says, "Hey, buddy, you stream pretty cool, and I really love it. Would like to be a good fan of yours. If you don't mind, kindly add up on Discord username Femo99.
Good fun.
We really like it when bots come in here.
Yep, and that's over on my Twitch channel as well.
So Femo, thank you very much for posting. But guess what? I really hate to do this to you, my friend, but it looks like I'm going to have to sit there do a thing called add to block list. Good night. There. Femo99 has taken a break from his bad typing. Kim says, honestly, that explains a lot about the module. Real quick about the Cult of Abaddon. That's really interesting about the module. Okay. The Cult of Abaddon was donated by Vince to New TSR in an effort to help New TSR out. I'll give Vince that. It was donated. So all these rumors of Vince being paid and everything is not true. But the thing is the original module, pretty much between Vince and Ernie arguing over what was suitable in the module, and Ernie getting mad because his changes weren't being used, Vince getting mad because his module is being changed. It was hilarious. It was a cluster like you wouldn't believe.
All right. Well, hey, I can add a little behind the scenes in on that one.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. So when Vince was working on this and it was getting ready to release, Vince was like, listen, I gave TSR a module, and I want nothing to do with it. It's not what I started with. You can review it and trash it. I was like, do I even want to review it? He's like, probably not.
Yeah. Yes, and actually, at the very beginning, to Justin Lanasa's credit, and yes, I'm giving Justin Lanasa credit for something. Okay, so you might want to mark this on your calendars. October 10th, I said this. Vince originally did not want his name attached to it, and Justin, in all of his paranoid, schizophrenic glory, not saying he's paranoid, schizophrenic, is merely my opinion for the sake of this vlog, and is not any official opinion. How's that for legal disclaimer?
Sounds good.
Vince went ahead, or Justin told me, I ain't gonna fall for that bullshit. I'm gonna put his name on it because I think he set me up, because I bet you he stole it from somebody. Yeah, he did probably borrow it from somebody, like he did his Ennie award-winning game. But we'll get to that in a minute. Real quick, St. Cuthbert, and then we can go back to Vince. Ask a question. Says, WizardCon 2025, any updates in the second hotel? Any other updates? Real quick, I did contact the other hotel across the parking lot quad. They have, because they're like a corporate owned chain, their event coordinator doesn't have the same authority as the one at the Sheraton does. So they had to contact their corporate office to see if they can give like special rates or something like that. He was all for it. He is really hyped about it. And actually, in fact, told me that if we want to do it next year at that hotel, he'll beat the Sheraton's rates easily. I'm not going to do that. I'm sticking with the Sheraton. I don't screw people over when I'm being treated good by somebody. But yes, so they're checking with corporate, and sadly they said they can't let me know until about mid to late October. I don't know why it takes like 3.5, 4 weeks to do it, but it's corporate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as anything else, as far as updates go, we have got confirmation. We are putting this on our channel. Sigourney Weaver from Aliens fame will be doing a remote tie-in to the convention for 10 minutes and going to be saying hello to everybody and just a real brief, happy to be here. So it's just something kind of cool.
Nice.
But we did get confirmation she's willing to do that. And Michael Bien, who played Hicks in the Aliens thing, I know him because he signs my pulse rifle lower receivers. He is trying to get there. He has another event the day before. It's in North Carolina where he lives, but he might be able to get to WizardCon. I'm working with him because I told him I'd fly you over if you want. Like,
yeah.
So good things are happening at WizardCon. No promises though on Michael Bien, but Sigourney Weaver is going to be there. It is going to be Saturday. It will be mid-afternoon. I will know a definite time sometime in January at the latest, probably before Christmas, she said, or her people, excuse me. So not like she's there, but I tell you what, it's Sigourney Weaver. And if I can have my photo taken next to her on a TV prompt, that's just as good.
It was live.
Yes, it was. Kim says, new TSR got what they paid for. Absolutely.
You know, go ahead.
Go ahead, you're fine. Just Ty Beard says, hello, you Fargan Bassages. How you doing, Ty?
Yeah, well, tell him he's an ice hole.
Yeah. Big Vic says, Don, you're obviously very sick. What do you mean by that? Huh? Wait a minute. Where is he at? Where'd he go?
We lost 10 guard.
No, I'm let me back in, damn it. Thank you.
I mean, Vic, I'll admit, I'm a pretty sick puppy, man, but what do you mean I'm very sick?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he meant it in a good way.
Oh, I think he meant it in a good way too. Real quick, Vic, me and you were talking earlier about something, and you were trying to figure out ideas. I have an idea for you. It involves something like a poster. I sent it to Eric and Tom, and Tom or Eric, one of the two, had a really good idea what you could do with the poster. I'll talk to you later on about it. And very, very good thing. And yes, I know I'm very sick for saying good things about Justin. But you know what? You know what? Keep in mind one thing. Even the biggest turd in the world starts off sometimes as the most prime USDA cut choice steak. Oh, come on. That was a good one. Oh, come on, guys.
That was ever an
Fine.
Like
Come on, don't you get it? You know the joke.
No. I get it. I eat steak.
You guys were supposed. Yeah, it was the tie-in to I Eat Steak. See, Rachel gets it. Thanks, Rach.
He's eating tube steak. He's having hot dogs. He's going bankrupt.
That's what I heard. All right. So, shall we get into the new website, or shall I get into Vince Plagiarism and the Ennies? What do you want to do first?
Vince, and I wanted to bring out I wanted to post a point to say the Cult of Abaddon village, the strategic village that you could visit, was ripped off by none other than Justin Lanassa and his pesky orcs or pesky goblins. One of those.
What's that? The village from
Cult of Abaddon was recycled.
Yeah, he used it in the those pesky goblins. It's the same village.
Yeah.
Do you know who drew that village?
Who?
Take a guess who is the guy who drew that village.
You.
Me.
Did you get credit?
Absolutely, I got credit. Seriously, but was my name put in that book? F no, I don't want my name attached to that damn thing. I told him flat off, I don't want nothing to do with that. Nope. You're not taking editing. You're not taking editing suggestions. You're not taking suggestions on how to make the stats make sense or anything like that. The only thing you want to do is you want to take artwork and everything else. And not only that, but I know for a fact he did not have permission to use what's his name's art. Well-known artist. He just says he can use his art. He has a license.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of the artist?
I'm drawing a blank. It's been so long since I looked at pesky goblins.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some things are defective since creation. Absolutely. Scott Mulder says no one got it because you didn't phonetically pronounce filet. You're right. Sorry. My apologies.
Scott's a great soul. I love him.
So, all right. So, Vincent Florio, Eric, you kind of tied all this together. You did a story on this.
Yes.
And yes, we are coming on your coattails for the story.
No, that's fine. We're all the three musketeers.
But the thing is, just kind of an overview from what I understand, and you'll clarify this greatly, but I'm going to do it I'm going to do the uneducated version of it. From what I understand, Vince went ahead and got an Ennie Award, which is a very prestigious award for us gamers. It's something that all of us would not mind having on our shelf, me included.
Less so nowadays.
But hey, it's you're being recognized by your peers,
right?
And the Ennie he got was for best product,
best free product,
best free product. Sorry, but now it turns out that Vince might not have created that thing fully himself, that he may have borrowed from something fairly well known. Yes. Eric, well, take it away.
I covered this back in, 2012, 2014? I guess 2012, when Vince was coming out with this. And the only reason why this even came up again, because this was all put to bed, is that I was checking out Vince's stuff on the internet. For another reason altogether. And I noticed that he had this new link, solo.co or something. And I followed it, and it was an interesting link. It had a lot of solo.to, and it had a lot of interesting links. I'm like, oh, look, it's got his Substacks. I didn't know he had 3 Substacks. I was like, damn. His podcast, he's got 2. All right. And then his, tin cup. I've got buy me a coffee, buy me a Ko-fi, support my YouTube. And then Mazes and Perils role-playing game, which I'll get you to the initial history of it. And it says the first Holmes D&D clone. Now, for Vince to claim that Mazes and Perils, which admittedly is a good game, I am going to throw that out there, is the first Holmes clone, when Holmes 77, which he built it off of, initially as a straight up rip. And then and I actually put pages next to pages on the blog back then, and they were the exact same effing pages. After I called them out, and Glenn Hallstrom came in, and I didn't know Glenn well at the time, but Glenn played a Peacemaker, which was nice. Vince went in and he actually rewrote stuff. I will give him that credit. But the reality is the work that was done on it was the initial Holmes book, and then there was editing. R.C. Pennell never took credit as writing it. He always said he edited it. He added to it, but he never, because it was based on Holmes. But and this is the story I was told, when Vince approached him about, hey, what are you doing with it? Pennell was like, you know what, I'm done with it. There's been pushback that people don't like what I did with it. I'm done with the project. And Vince was like, oh, well, do you mind if I take it over? Do with it as you will. And then Vince went, okay, written by Vince Florio. Now, I don't care, and I didn't care 10, 12 years ago, if you were given a paper that somebody else wrote and never submitted and said, you know what, I'm not handing it in for this class, why don't you take it? Well, you know what? That's you're turning in somebody else's work. It's the same thing.
But more importantly, I did a little research real quick. Important point to interrupt you on right here.
Yeah.
I went and pulled the Ennie's terms of submission, and I read them.
Ooh.
They are in depth, and they are very in depth, but they make it very clear that when you submit and you hit the button I've read and I submit under the terms of submission, they make it very clear in there that the work that you are submitting, that you are certifying, that you are the sole creator. And if you are not, you have to list those that you either based your work off of or had helped you make the work, including using existing works in existing projects. What he did is he had to have certified to the Ennies that he sat there, either did it all himself, or if not, he would have to have listed that he based it on that work, and that would have been an automatic disqualifier for him. So I'm going to call him out right here, and I'm going to say something for the record. I did email Vince Florio yesterday on this. I told him we were doing this show, and I said that he is either welcome to send me a written comment, and I would be happy to read it on here, or he is more than welcome to come on this show at any time, and we would let him have uninterrupted say to give his side of this story.
Wow.
No response. Now, I have Vince's cell phone. I texted Vince the same thing. I seen that he read it. No response. So he's been notified via email, via text. I know he read my my text. And he is not wanting to come on here because he is a freaking coward, like he was in Discord bashing Eric and everybody else. I've already showed you to the Discord chats what he said.
Oh, well, yeah.
And that piece of walking trash stood by and laughed and encouraged it when he was bashing Rach. And you saw me defending Rach in my comments in the Discord chat saying, guys, you guys are going too far. And Vince just jumped on the bandwagon. Vince, you're watching this, I know. Please call me a freaking liar. Please do. I'm welcome to come on the show. You can come on the show, come in the thing and say, I'm here, guys. I'll mute everybody, and you can just have your say and call us a liar if you want.
So if you report to Gen Con the violation of the rules, would they ever strip somebody of an
I don't know. I don't think any has ever been stripped.
I guess it would set a precedent. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, the Ennie Awards are the Ennie, no matter whether or not you like them or not, it is the award for gaming. It is like the Oscars of gaming. And I'm sorry, but if you're going to get an award,
Wait,
earn the damn thing by doing the work. Put the work in.
do right.
Well,
You know?
and here's now this is just a little side observation. You know, I back in the day podcasted with Vince on a number of podcasts. And Vince ghosted me and ghosted others at times. We're like, wow, we were supposed to have a recording of a podcast today, but Vince never reached out. Maybe it didn't happen. Then you find out 3 weeks later, oh no, I canceled the Faraway Lands podcast. Why? Didn't tell me, didn't tell Dirk. Oh, we weren't getting enough listens. Because, and I will, this is it. Vince always said he needed, wanted, desired to get another Ennie. And he wanted to get one.
Maybe honestly?
Maybe. He wanted to get one for one of his podcasts. And it never happened. But we had, the Brainstorm podcast was a good podcast. You can't find it online because once it came down, Vince took the ball away.
Isn't that a bitch?
What's
ego? Isn't
Oh.
ego a chip on your shoulder, something really horrible to have?
Yes.
I get fired up. I'm sorry. This kind of thing pisses me off because you know what he did? He got an award for something that other people did do the work for. They put the time in at their computer and the creative process, and he took it from somebody because he's too freaking lazy to get off his fat ass and sit there doing it himself. I am so sick of Vince Florio and his.
Talk about it.
Ooh.
But here's the thing. I only even looked into this and it came back up to the surface when I stumbled at the fact that Vince getting an Ennie wasn't enough. He now claims to have been the first. And it really made me scratch my head. Like, am I misremembering my own history and how I actually got to meet Vince? I mean,
well, it's the same thing as him buying followers on YouTube. Look at all my subs I have. You bought them.
Yeah. That
you know? And by the way, to the people who got offended over making a comment saying fat ass, listen, I got the biggest fat ass sitting in this chair. I'm a big boy too, okay? So I do it in a way that I don't mean it like maybe it sounds. My apologies if I offended anybody. Oh, except Vince. If I offended him, I did my job well.
No, you offended Vince. Because when I confronted him over his literal betrayal of a friend, me, and I called him a few names, I was told that I was fat shaming him and called him a bad Catholic.
Yeah.
Listen, and the bad Catholic part, if Vince is an example of a good Catholic, I'm going to become a Mormon. All right, folks.
Well, Jim Wampler says something here. Jim says that process, when done correctly, is exactly how I ended up with the Silver Ennie for Spellburn podcast 2 years after I left the show. Jim goes on and says, i.e., they made sure the founding host participated in the award.
Nice.
Oh, the only thing I'm saying is this: you know what, everybody, if you enter a contest, you enter because you want to win. I mean, we all, I put Haunted Ruins in for Ennie a couple years ago. I didn't win. Guess what? Why didn't I win? Because somebody better than me put a better product in. Simple as that. I got no problem with that. But I'm not going to lie and I'm not going to cheat, because if I did win an Ennie based on a lie and deception, every time I look at that Ennie hanging on my wall, I'll be embarrassed and ashamed of it. So I'd rather have nothing. What's that, Tom?
That's because you have a conscience.
Yeah, I got a conscience. Yeah. I mean, it's when you win something, it's like those people go out, they go on eBay and they buy all those military award certificates.
Oh, geez.
That are all junk anyways. And they hang them on their wall and go, yeah, you see that? I was a graduate of Navy SEALs Ranger training. You just wasted whatever amount of money those things cost. It means nothing. You didn't earn it,
Right.
And it just bugs me. It's like fake badges. It probably pisses you off, Eric, when people have fake badges. Look, I'm it's made of freaking plastic.
A Blackwater FBI.
Blackwater, FBI, Special Operations. Thaddeus has a very good point. To be fair, he probably is a bad Catholic. And Thaddeus goes on and says, at 10 Cars Tavern, let me know. I can send a few people your way. I have connections.
Listen, if I really want to go the Mormon way, believe me, my son lives out in Salt Lake City. I think I got a connection.
Eric, I don't think that your current wife, and let's put it this way, I don't think your beautiful bride sitting behind you would partake too happily in you having 3 or 4 more in the house.
Dude,
if I
wouldn't survive.
To be fair to the Mormons, okay, it's only the alt right or left groups that actually still do that. The official Mormon church has kind of ended that polygamy.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know. If home says, "Honey, I'm bringing home an extra couple of wives," my wife would be like getting out the knife, going, "Go ahead, come on, bring them here." Love you, honey.
I don't know who my wife would hurt more, me or
yeah. So
no, David, ganging up.
David, this isn't. I don't think my co-hosts know this reference. I certainly do.
Don Shipley.
Yes, you know.
Oh hell yeah, I know Don Shipley reference.
Tunnels and Trolls fiasco.
Well, not only that, but Don Shipley is a Navy SEAL. Don Shipley, Eric, is a Navy SEAL. He's famous. His son was a Navy SEAL. Died getting shot up and still managed to walk out. He got a Congressional Medal of Honor. And Don Shipley has a podcast and a YouTube channel where he outs fake Navy SEALs. He'll knock on their door.
Okay.
Yeah, Don Shipley is. Maybe it's a different Don Shipley. You're thinking.
Yeah, no.
David Thompson. Am I talking about the right one? You are.
Sorry, that was the Tunnels and Trolls guy who basically does what some of our associates here do. Appropriates IP. But that was Shipman. Sorry.
Yeah, Don Shipley is a Navy SEAL.
Wow.
Still teaches demolition to Navy SEALs. Him and his wife have a huge channel where they basically out Navy people who do Navy. They claim they're Navy SEALs, their special operations, all that. So I think that's who he was talking about.
Walt Whitman coverage, not Walt Whitman. Ken Whitman.
Yeah.
And I have Pinkerton patches, Foogly, but I don't. I played a Pinkerton at the midnight auction one year, but
Foogly, I can make you a certificate. Okay.
If we could put a pin in Vince, I'd like to point out that Big Vic did a comment about university presidents get fired for plagiarism, which is true. Harvard University. Woman who testified before Congress, and then people started looking at her like, who is this woman? And suddenly she got caught in like 30, 40 something instances of plagiarism, outright plagiarism. That was, and they were like, oh, you're just being racist because she's a black woman. No, she plagiarized. And they were showing this, and I was like, yeah, that's just terrible.
Well, and the thing
is, now that Vince is out for one, I think all you got to do is go digging, and you'll just find more.
Well, honestly. See, to me, I don't really care about his other work because he didn't gain nothing from it. But it's like stolen valor. If you're going to sit there and claim that you were a Navy SEAL, Special Forces, parajumper, whatever, or a Department of Homeland Security Blackwater Special Ops veteran like Justin Lanasa did, then fine, do it. All you're doing is you're puffing yourself up, making yourself feel better. People who know you're making yourself up to be an ass to them. But it's the people who benefit from it. Like Vince. Vince plagiarized and he benefited. He took an award from somebody who deserves it. And it's just like what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put one of those. I got Tina has the link. I'm going to do one of those where you can sign up and sign the petition. And I'm going to send it and do a thing where having his Ennie revoked because he doesn't deserve it.
Damn.
I think you
can post it around Facebook, and I'm sure a lot of people will click on the link and sign the petition.
Cal, you're a Gravy SEAL? Absolutely. I'm a pork chop Special Forces Ranger base jumping operator.
Damn.
Very cute.
I'm also retired LAPD, NYPD detective sergeant. Don't you believe me, Eric?
Okay. Maybe.
To be honest, it kind of seems beneath them. Yeah. Gareth Garfoot, I'm French Foreign Legion, Filet Mignon Airborne Company. Yeah.
True
You got to
story.
get the filet minion.
True story. I had a friend, he was a disabled state police officer from Massachusetts, and we were traveling to a convention, and together carpooling, and we get this phone call. He gets this phone call. He's driving, and his son had got picked up by a cop, and then knew he was a cop. So there was just, hey, do you want to come down and pick him up? He's like, I'm on my way to Pennsylvania. You're just gonna have to keep him overnight. And so we're at the convention, and he's pulling up all this information on the French Foreign Legion. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna force my son to go on the French Foreign Legion.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Damn.
The kid straightened out eventually, but
yeah.
I was like, I'm sitting there going, well, that's a bit extreme, but
French Foreign Legion will straighten your ass out if it's not, I bet.
Yeah, I thought it was funny, especially because the poor guy, he'd be in our hotel room and he was on the phone and he's trying to deal with stuff and talk to the DA. It was just a mess. And he's doing all this from Historicon in Pennsylvania, of all places.
Nice.
And
Parasocial says there was another Italian-American Harvard professor that faked her own data and then was caught for plagiarism.
Ooh.
So that's
bad too.
Yeah. She says she literally DEI'd all the way to Harvard. Really?
Oh,
how do you get away with that?
Professor, I think it's the Harvard professor that testified before Congress.
Yeah. Plagiarism, we call it research.
If you give credit for the quote.
And St. Cuthbert says, I'm a Buffalo Trace Ranger. Yeah.
Well,
Tom, I think you and Eric could relate to that. I'm not a bourbon drinker. I don't drink bourbon or whiskey or nothing like that. I'm a rum drinker.
I think that would be a Buffalo Trace Ranger.
Yeah. David Tom says, I have a friend in the Legion. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Scott Mulder says, sounds like the bad blood with Vince has been brewing for a while. I haven't followed all the game community drama, but it doesn't sound good. No, Scott, this is the thing with Vince. Vince went ahead and really befriended a lot of people. And then he went right and he backstabbed them in a flat minute because he thought he was getting a better deal someplace else. It's like what Mike Hovermail is doing. He was all in bed with Justin Lanasa. Well, now he can get what he thinks is a better deal out of Neon from Clownfish TV, so he's jumping on that bandwagon. And if someone came along and offered him a better deal, he would turn on Neon and go to that person. He jumps around more than he jumps in more beds than my ex-wife did when I was married to her.
Yeah.
And that's a lot, trust me.
So
Gunther says, if you have no talent, instead of plagiarizing, just don't publish. It saves a lot of trouble and embarrassment in the long run.
Oh, come on.
That's no fun.
But you don't get the accolades. You know what I mean?
Well, I think he wanted
It's sort of like my argument with Justin Lanasa. And again, I'm going to defend Justin Lanasa. Sorry, Vic, to do this again. But Justin doesn't understand one thing. It's like my friend Steve. He was attached to a field artillery unit, but he was a cook. You know what? He still served his country. He still stepped up. He went through basic training and all that. And like I tell him, he acts embarrassed. I'm like, don't be embarrassed, Steve. You served your flipping country. And that's something I don't get about Justin and other people lie about the military service. It doesn't matter what you did. You served your country. Be proud of what you did. Not everybody has to be, no joke, an airborne ranger. You can be a cook and stand with pride. I don't get it. It's like you, Eric. You never went in the military, but what you did is you served your community by becoming a police officer, and you put yourself in danger. How many lives did you save? That baby's life that you saved. You tell a story. I remember that.
Yes.
And it chokes you up when you talk about it because you're proud of what he did, because of what you did for that child. And somewhere out there, that child's alive today because of you, sir.
Well, wait a minute. Eric ran towards the collapsing towers on 9/11.
Yeah.
Okay. And
amen to that, man.
Different place at a different time responding, he would have been underneath those towers.
Absolutely.
So he gets a thank you for your service. End of story.
Yeah. And you know what? That guy down below us, I don't care what anyone says, that man down below us is a flipping hero. And I know he doesn't like having the term used towards him, but he is. Because he did something that day, and probably many, many other days that he doesn't talk about, that normal people would run from, he ran to. Eric, hat off to you, my friend. Just going to say it, man.
All right. I'm getting a little red now. So
okay, we will move on, okay?
My humble baby.
Chairboard racers, that's almost like chair force.
Yeah. So Parasocial says, yeah, she was in behavior science, behavioral economics. Oh, the lady from Harvard? Yeah. And then Gunther says, my advice may be boring, but that's just my personality. Boring is okay if it's based on honesty. And then Scott says,
a lot of fun at the gaming table.
Yeah, occasionally I have watched a Colin Fish vid. I have a lot of boredom at work where I live. I notice they mention Hovermail from time to time. Very rarely, though, do they mention him. And the funny thing is you would think that they have this game Adventure Engine coming out that's supposed to be out there right now, I think, in beta testing. They said they're getting ready to enter it. If you're getting ready to enter into beta testing, you want to push it, just like the website I'm bringing up. We're entering in the beta testing. We want people to use it because we need to know. But you talk about your developer.
Right.
I mean, you'd think. And then David Thompson says Chairborne Rangers. Yep. And then Titus says Chair Force. Hey, so. But the thing is about Vince is I just don't understand the mechanics behind the brain that's in that guy's skull rambling around of why you would do that, how you think that that's okay to do, and then brag about something that you won based upon dishonesty. And plagiarism is dishonesty.
You know what? I'm going to make a confession here. I threw away some sources when I was typing up, my bibliography at the end of a term paper at seminary. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I did that is that I had done so much research. I had 50 sources, and I was typing it on a typewriter word processor. And it was killing me. It was like 3 a.m. And I said, you know what? I didn't quote from this source. Index card gone. Mm-hmm. So I just didn't reference it. Any source that I had actually quoted from in the paper, they all got into the bibliography. And at the end of the day, I had 40 sources for that bibliography, and I got an A for it. But mm-hmm. I gave people credit. And I just simply threw away sources that I had consulted, and I decided not important for this term paper.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted at 3 a.m. Yeah. I had to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird with Vince, though, because this never, nobody would even know or care if he wasn't trying to sell it as the first when it isn't the first. But this is Vince, my opinion, has a need to be recognized. Yeah. I personally believe that his issues with me are more to do with the idea that he feels that whatever recognition I have in gaming should be his because, look, he wrote the first Holmes clone.
Was it you that turned him on the vlogging, or did he turn you on the vlogging?
He turned, he's the one that's got me into podcasting. He definitely, listen.
You talk about it openly. That's why I mentioned it.
When Vince needs you, you are a good friend. When you are no longer needed, you are disposable or usable. This is my personal experience. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm sure others have their own experiences. But, Vince, when he needed another, when he needed my reach in the OSR community to get his, podcasts listened to, then I was important. When he was no longer focusing on that, I was disposable or I was usable. That's, so it is what it is.
And I think your popularity in the gaming community, Eric, is the fact that you have staked out that middle ground. We're not right or left. we're going to go neutral. We're going to stay in the middle ground. You get all the criticism from the left saying you don't use your powers for good, and all the criticism from the right saying, oh, you're too woke. And to me, that is, aside from the 9/11 thing, that is why I've always looked at you as somebody who's admirable. I'm like, yeah, and I'm probably a little bit one side or the other of center of you. And I do look at you and I'm like, that's what I aspire to be more like.
Well, thank you.
He's chosen, he has staked out a good position, and that's why I think you're an admirable person who that I look at you and I'm like, all right.
See, the difference between you and Vince is that you look at whatever it is I have to offer and go, I can work with that and I can work with him. Whereas with Vince, I can use that and I can use him.
Yep.
And there's a difference. Again, this is my perspective. I'm not speaking for anybody but me. But, so there's a need for recognition that Vince has had. He's always wanted another Ennie since he got the first one. Now, maybe it's because he doesn't feel it's legitimate. I don't know.
He told me the reason behind it. Do you know why he wants another Ennie?
Why?
Because the Ennie that he won he thinks it's on the lower spectrum of the type of award because it's for a free product. He wants to be what he considers. I'm using my own term, not his, but basically he wants to be like the big boys. And it's like, dude, an Ennie's an Ennie. You won an Ennie.
Right.
You got recognized. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it is what it is. Vince ain't going to change. Vince isn't going to sit there and do. He's going to do, if anything, he's just going to hone his skills and get worse. So, is what it is.
Right. So let's put in Vince and call him done.
Boom. Okay. I put a fork in it. Are we moving on to the Anonymous?
Anonymous.
Oh yeah, if you want to, let's do it.
Sure.
Eric got a email last night or the other night from Michael Hovermail, supposedly.
Yeah.
But then after reading it and talking about it, I think we all agreed this was not a Hovermail email.
No.
And I know for a fact it's not because of I pointed out one thing, but Eric, take it away.
All right. So when this email popped up, and I saw it, and I was like, huh? And I read it real quickly. And by the way, when you do a real quick read on your phone, your eyes are doing that Evelyn Wood speed reading course kind of.
At 1:20 in the morning.
Forgiving.
Yeah.
At 1:20 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, it was like 12:15, but whatever it was.
It 12:15?
Yeah. Or 12:13, whatever. So I'm reading it real quickly, and I'm getting the content, but I'm not reading the mistakes. I'm not catching the issues. And I'm like, son of a good damn. And I was like, fuck Michael. And I'm like, I can't share this. Well, go. And so I go on and I start doing my video, and I calm myself down before the video, but I'm like, all right. And as I'm reading the letter.
And you mentioned my ass that late too and got me all hyped up.
Yeah. And I'm like, as I'm reading the letter, I'm going, wait a second. Graph paper. Wait. Michael is not just educated. He likes to remind you that he's educated. Okay? Yes. Okay, so I'm just saying, Michael, that's not a criticism. It's an observation.
Yeah.
I'm like, so if he was sending this obviously well thought out email, because somebody put time into it, and he can't spell his own YouTube channel name correctly, misspelling architect, but not as a typo, as a phonetic spelling.
Yes.
I was like, ooh. And my mind started going. And then I'm reading. And I'm catching grammar mistakes. I'm catching misspellings. I'm catching words that, and I'm looking at this. Oh, and of course, referring to themselves as me.
Yep.
like telling you, hey, really, it's anonymous, but it's wink, wink, me, Michael Havermill. And by the way, if you've ever dealt with Michael Havermill, his name is not Michael Havermill.
Nope.
Okay? It's Michael motherfucking K Havermill.
K period Havermill.
You don't leave out the K. And if my mother heard me the mother effing part, Mom, I apologize. Don't watch the video.
Eric's in trouble.
But you can't leave out the K.
Nope.
He can't. But he's also referring to Don as Donald. Well,
we're not.
The individual who wrote this letter knows that we all share them. And this is to lend authenticity that it was Michael Havermill writing it. But then
very few people call me Donald. Even my wife doesn't call me Donald. It's always Don or, Havermill called me Donald.
Right. So then I get further on, and Havermill can't spell his own name correctly. Now, that would be like me spending time putting together a letter and then misspelling Tenkar.
Yeah.
Or I would spell Eric with a C. It's not happening. So now, and by the way, and as the letter goes on, it gets sloppier. And it's threatening vagueness, by the way. It threatens vagaries that don't exist. I'm just making that observation. But I could say things that might damage your case. My case is dismissed. It's under appeal, but there's nothing that can be said that's going to affect the appeal. The appeal is just on the law. It's not on the content.
Yep.
Oh, it can affect the bankruptcy. Nothing's going to affect the bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is done.
Done. I
got my receipt. I got my here's the final. Look at it. Yeah. You get nothing. You get nothing. So, all right. And I'm looking, I'm going, wow, this is really, really screwed up. Oh, and talking about a game that I don't give, Don, just that you know, I don't care about what game you worked on or what game Michael worked on, and throwing that in made no sense. And by the way, the judge doesn't regard the plaintiff's word as better than anybody else's. No, it doesn't work that way.
All right. For evidence.
And then it ended with a threat there. There might be a knock on your door. And I was like, all right, I'm done.
You're going to be sued. SUDE.
So, Michael, all right? I'm not going to do critical reviews of your videos, although they may have some more content that is useful. If there is, I'll say it. But I'm going to tell you right now, I apologize for going into that video thinking it was you, because it isn't you. All right? And whatever faults you have, being an illiterate, uneducated schmuck is not one of them. All right? And I need to stress that.
Illiterate schmuck.
You could still be a schmuck. All right? You could still be, whatever it is you are.
Yep.
I personally, I'll be honest with you, I just think that you're a weak individual with no backbone. I think that is your main issue. Mm-hmm. That being said, that letter was not you.
No.
And I will give you more credit even. If you were going to say something to me, you wouldn't use the same anonymous mail service that somebody else just keeps on using because they're comfortable with it.
Well, it would be easier just to email you one-on-one and go, hey, Eric, I'm willing to share things with you if you guarantee me, because Michael knows that you're a man of your word. If you say you're not going to share it, you won't. Right. And he knows that. So if he would come to you and say, I'll share certain things with you if you agree to keep my name out of it, you would say yes. But yeah, what a schmuck.
So
a literate schmuck.
Yeah.
He is a literate schmuck, not an illiterate schmuck.
So if you watch last night's video, you will literally see my eyes go wide as I get the clarity and go, "Holy shit! I'm being played." And by the way, if I had done a rereading before doing the video, I wouldn't have been played. I was played because I was emotional, and I'll give credit to whoever wrote that email. You know what? You had me hooked for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. Because I will say, I consider myself pretty well trained. I'm a trained investigator, did law enforcement for 20 years. But the letter poked at certain things to get you emotional.
Yep. Well, and that's just it. I mean, it's the person who did send it, and I think we all agree on, we know who sent it, is an expert manipulator. And they're expert manipulator. They know how to play people's emotions and feelings, and it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
So
well, they have a handful of Kool-Aid drinking sycophants.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Please, Anonymous, don't try to spell sycophant.
Yeah.
You can go with phonetic spelling. It's okay.
My favorite.
Yep.
Palpatable.
Oh yeah. So at the end of the palpatable at the end of the email, I was I'm reading it and I'm going. That phrase, that word from The Princess Bride, that like, I don't think the word means what you think it means. It's like, I don't think the word. But again, Michael.
That was the Michael word.
Michael, you would have used the right word.
Said palpable.
Yeah. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank whoever wrote this. By the way, once I realized that I was being played, I wasn't angry. I was entertained.
Yeah.
Because somebody put effort into that. They really, really tried. This was my observation. 6th grade education, trying to look like a college graduate.
Yep.
And really, really, Grammarly, please help me. I can do this. Yes, that sounds like Michael. So that's my observation.
Good effort.
I'm going to give you the writer, B+ for effort, D for content, but for actual knowledge, F, man. I'm sorry. Or woman.
Well,
I don't want to
try.
I don't want to gender you.
They try. But
so there was a question about who's Vince. Vince Florio, the evil DM.
Yeah.
You have the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And listen,
apparently an Emmy.
And I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna throw this out there. If you want to see if you want to listen to some really good old school gaming podcasts, go for Save or Die, Roll for Initiative, the older stuff, about a decade ago, before Vince fully turdified himself.
Yeah.
And these are things that he was involved with, either as a producer or as one of the hosts. And it's some really good stuff. By the way, there's a Save or Die episode that Mike Stewart and Liz, his wife, were on with Vince talking about Home 77, reviewing it before Vince even started working on Mazes and Peril. So you can't say you didn't know about it.
Well, he's a turd. Everybody knows he's a turd, so it is what it is.
But
we only got a couple minutes left. So before we go, I just want to real quickly ask anybody who's watching this, if you all would like to beta test a new website. Wizard Tower Games is putting this website out. I'm going to show a link or a picture of it now. It is a social network, and what we're doing is we're stressing privacy on it, and also we don't censor. We're trying to make it more gamer centric. There's going to be a VTT attached to it where you can actually kind of incorporate gaming into it and such. But right now it's in beta. It is located at myfriendspot.com, and basically we don't track you. So if you're searching for washing machines and Coca-Cola off-site, you're not going to see any ads for it on this site. It is really private, confidential stuff. Data's not shared. It is fully encrypted, and it has all the popular. It has direct chat. You can video chat. You can sit there and create photos, photo albums. And like I said, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be having things like a virtual tabletop. You can create groups. You can create pages for businesses. It is a full-line social media site, but just a little bit different, a little bit more. I'm going to use the word, when I say cleaner, it doesn't have all the trackers and things that you sell. So it's located at myfriendspot.com. We are going to be having the Android and the iOS app probably in about another 3 or 4 days. They're almost done.
Wow.
So if you say something like, goblins are the worst, you're not going to get a strike.
Absolutely. And you can go ahead and see, that's the whole thing about this is keep in mind one thing. And this is something very important about social media that a lot of people miss. And that is, you may be offended by something, but someone else may not be. So the option is this: don't join the group, don't join the page, don't engage in their content. And this is basically for anybody. If you want to be a tester, it's open. Sign up and test it away. Give your, check it out. There is a My Friend Spot group that you can join, give input. You can sit there, give opinions. You can offer suggestions. If you want some type of feature, you can go ahead and have that on there. Kim says, can I send Tinker anonymous emails via it? No, but that's an idea. Maybe we can all have like an anonymous email parties.
Yeah, there we go.
Parasocial says, finally a parasocial site. Absolutely. You can go ahead and create your own little thing there. And then Paul says, click the register link to sign up. That's all you got to do. Go ahead and at the you see the little register link on the very bottom. Yes. And the idea behind the site, again, is we know that there's going to be little bugs and glitches. There's nothing major on there, but that's the whole purpose of beta testing. We want your opinions on it. Sign up away.
Have at it.
Well, yep. I mean, it sounds like something that is more gaming friendly than Facebook. I've been in a couple of Facebook game groups where it was doing a play-by-post through Facebook.
That is the entire point of this. Yeah. Is I want to really make it gamer-centric. And right now, we have the core engine in. It's really designed to be a social media website, and we're adding those gaming-type aspects. We have things that Facebook does not have. Like, as an example, Eric is a blogger. You're a vlogger. But Eric also blogs. We have a blogging function on there. So you can go ahead and you can have a blog. We are getting ready to install this weekend a forum function. So as an example, if you want to make your own gaming forum, Tom, for Star Frontiers, that's specifically for Star Frontiers, and it's a full-line forum, you can create your own forum and share it with people. So we're trying to figure out things that other social media sites do not do that would go well with a social media site, just like the VTT. We're right now in the middle of doing it where you can roll the dice and the dice go across the screen, all that cool stuff. And then once Zonk is done, I'm going to be implementing Zonk into this also. So there's going to be online gaming also available on it. So it's the little baby steps we're taking. This has actually been worked on. There's people that are on my personal page, like Melissa Thompson and Adam Halford and Lee Hayward and stuff. This initially began in 2012. The idea behind it and everything. And originally it was going to be a social media website for kids, because my wife teaches little ones, and there's little kids out there, kindergarten, pre-K, that have Facebook pages. Crazy, scary stuff. But we decided not to do that because of all the headaches involved, legalities. So this has kind of been an amalgamation. It's based on a core set of code that we've expanded on and built on and done. And more people the merrier. Please do. Don't be afraid. If you find a problem, join the Facebook, join the My Friend Spot group and say, hey, I found a glitch. This is what it does, yada, yada, yada. Just like if you want to go ahead and you want a feature, say, hey, let's do this. because this site is going to have a term you're going to see a lot. The entire My Friend Spot social media site is member driven. We want our members to help drive the functionality of it, and also the all aspects of it, and also what you can do with it and features and stuff like that. So yeah, cool. So that's it. It's myfriendspot.com. I'll be posting it on social media tonight on all the Wizard Tower game stuff. And yeah, we just want people to check it out. You like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. I'm not mad a bit. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But keep in mind, it's not like Facebook. We're not going to censor you. We're not going to say, no, you can't talk that way. Very simple theory. I may not like your content. It's a very simple way for me to say, I'm not going to join your content. I'm not going to partake in it.
Right.
But we are going to have certain base rules under membership. We're not going to tolerate any racist BS. We're not going to any Nazi type crap and stuff like that. Sorry, that we are going to put our foot down on. But other than that, it's pretty much a thing. Scott Mulder says, is there Discord? There is actually, this is another thing. We actually are having, and it's almost done, is a chat forum type thing like Discord, where you can create, we don't call them servers, they're actually circles, because the theory behind it is, like me, you, and Tom, we have a little circle of friends. So that's what it is. They're called circles instead of servers. So you create circles with people that are like-minded, like interests, that type of thing. Paul says, finish registering. Who is Eric? Phil asks. Cal says, who is Phil? Uh-huh. And then Phil goes, who? And then Cal goes, I'm discordant enough already. Again, these are features you don't have to take part in. That's another thing. You can go in your control panel, you can turn these functions off if you don't want to even see them. So it's very, very member-centric. You can go ahead and really make it to what you want. But that was kind of the idea behind it. I'm pretty proud of it. Put a lot of work into it, a lot of time and efforts put into it for you guys. And also, it's 100% free. Yes, it's going to stay free. We're not going to, it's not like, we're not like a heroin dealer. We're not going to give you your first few free and then hit you with the high pricing. It's free.
God damn it.
But if you're a company, you want to advertise on it, you can advertise on it. Advertising does cost, but we're not going to do it per click. It's going to be very simple. You can have an advertisement. That advertisement for a set price is going to last for a set amount of time. Make it simple. So there we go.
Very cool.
So, all right.
Signed up already. Friend me, folks. All right.
Excellent. Guys, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you very much for the comments and everything. To our new commenters, please hit the like and subscribe button to the Vlog of Many Things, and also whatever channel you happen to be looking at it on. We could use the support and help, and we'll be back next week with who knows what. Yeah, let's make a promise, everybody, guys. Let's not do nothing controversial next week. Let's just make something really fun and light. So the Vlog of Many Things at gmail.com. Everybody, if you have any ideas for content, throw us an email, and we'd love to get your input and kind of make the show the way you want it. That's what this is for. So email us at thevlogofmanythings at gmail.com. And I'm Don signing off.